Vienna was not only a city for rich people, and it still is not. It also had a lot of migration from the countryside as well as from other parts of the empire to the city caused by the industrialization. And a lot of people lived under very precarious circumstances in these buildings that you can see here. A rectangular block added one by the other over kilometers of land. Not a lot of green space, not a lot of fresh air, and a huge density even in the courtyards with small manufacturing businesses and things like that. These constructions have been built according to the fashion of that time with a lot of decoration, so they look quite beautiful. They have decorated facades, they look representative, but inside they're very different. Inside they offer very small apartments, one room, one kitchen, the toilet on the corridor, narrow courtyards with nearly no light, and especially not for those apartments in the first or second floor. The circumstances people lived under in this time have been really dramatic and very similar to the poor areas in those countries in the world that we call the global south. So they shared even the bed at that time in Vienna, where some people slept during the day and others during the night because they could not afford their own one. This happened during the industrialization up to the end of the 19th, the beginning of the 20th century. After the Second World War, the city tried to renovate these kind of structures. They still had a huge density, and they organized a program to empty the courtyards, to add volume on the outskirts of these blocks, and by that to create a more ventilated, a more lightful, a more livable environment for those that lived in these apartments. They also got subsidized for renovating the apartments, renovating the buildings, and they tried to make them bigger, to install bathrooms, proper heating systems as we need them, unfortunately, in our country. Beside that, or before that, in the beginning of the 19th century, the social democrats that ruled the city from that time on tried by a huge housing program for social housing to increase the situation for those people that lived under these precarious circumstances due to the end of the First World War, but also due to the industrialization before. And they followed two strings in that time. One was this block, this kind of fortress of the workers against the bourgeoisie, and also a kind of movement for people that try to build a small single family houses, semi-detached, detached houses with gardens, with where they planted their fruits and their vegetables to support the quality of their life. So this was the program that dealt with the dramatic housing situation after the industrialization, especially after the two world wars that we faced here in Europe. Nowadays, the situation is a bit different. I will continue then with my next part.